The opinions expressed on this program represent the viewpoints of individual authors or contributors and do not necessarily reflect those of Troy University.
Welcome to International Insights. I am Doug Davis, and with me is Michael Slobodchikoff. On this episode, we will be speaking with Ambassador Galit Peleg, the Israeli ambassador to Albania and to Bosnia-Herzegovina. Ambassador Peleg joined the Israeli Foreign Service in 1998 and served in Morocco, Serbia, Macedonia, Montenegro, and New York. She headed the liaison office to the European Parliament, and she was the director of the Overseas Program and Humanitarian Aid at Israel's Development Agency, where she coordinated the governmental humanitarian aid to Ukraine and helped bring medicine, food, and set up a hospital in Ukraine. Since September of 2022, she is the ambassador of Israel to Albania and to Bosnia-Herzegovina. Ambassador Peleg, welcome to the show from Albania.
Thank you very much, and good morning.
Good morning.
Good evening to you, Madam Ambassador. You have a long and distinguished diplomatic record. You served in the IDF in Morocco, Serbia, Brussels, New York, and now Albania and Bosnia-Herzegovina. What were your greatest challenges and successes, and what lessons have you learned through this service?
Well, it's a very interesting question. I think that in every place that I served my country was a different challenge. I learned different things. When you are young, you also see things differently, and the missions are different. And when you change the position, the missions are different. But if you ask me what kind of lessons I learned, I think I mainly learned about myself, with the challenges that I have to deal with, how I deal with them. I think I developed skills that maybe I didn't know 25 years ago. And of course, each post was, like I said, different targets and different challenges. When I was in Morocco, it was different than in actually when I was in Belgrade, when it was kind of the dissolving or dismantling of Yugoslavia. I just arrived when it became from Yugoslavia, Serbia and Montenegro, and then only Serbia and Montenegro was separately. And later on, I've been to I was the liaison officer to the European Parliament in Brussels, into the European Union. It was different challenges, and and in New York it was something totally different. So it's every place has its own challenges and benefits. For example, as an Israeli diplomat, New York is very different than other places because it's the headquarters of the major Jewish organizations in the world. So we call it the second largest, or maybe it's the largest Jewish city in the world. So every place it was different challenges, but I think mainly I developed myself. I hope that it will be to be a good ambassador when I started to my first mission as ambassador here in Albania.
Excellent. I want to turn to the recent attacks, and the attacks Israel suffered from Hamas were terrible and brought sorrow to all who sympathize with the Jewish people. How was this allowed to occur, and what does this mean for Israel?
Truth is that this is what I'm dealing with in the last 10 days, and your interview is a kind of a break from this, concentrating only on this topic, but it's really something that we didn't expect. And My country went through a brutal massacre. There is no other way to describe it. Everybody knows that we are involved in a long conflict between us and the Palestinians for many years since the establishment of the State of Israel. In the last, let's say, 20 years, we have a serious problem with our southern border with Gaza. Since Hamas, which is a terror organization, took over, we are a target for thousands of missiles that are being launched at our citizens since 2007. Also, terror attacks, which are stabbing and shooting and bombing. But what happened 10 days ago, last Saturday, was something totally different. Close to 2,000 terrorists entered Israel. They went to small villages, towns, kibbutz, if you know what it is. They went to people's houses. Um, People heard them. They went to the shelter. They entered their houses. They burned their houses so that people would get out of the shelter. They slaughtered people. I'm not going to get into really description of what they did because I have to tell you that I heard testimonials of paramedics that came to the place, and they said that they've experienced terror attacks and bombing and terrible accidents. They never saw cruelty as they experienced this time, and so we have right now the total the numbers that we so far know, and they're not finals, are about 1,000, and I'm talking about one day, 1,300 people dead. That's children and old people and minorities are soldiers, majority are civilians. And I'm talking about not killed but slaughtered. 1,300. We have more than 6,000 people in hospitals fighting for their lives. And we have close to 200 people that were kidnapped into Gaza, among them 18 children. The youngest is 6 months old. The oldest of the kidnapped people is 85-year-old lady who is a survivor of the Holocaust. We have no idea what's their faith. We don't know what's their condition. And they are being held in Gaza by these terrorists. And this is the situation right now. So I don't think I will exaggerate if I say that the whole state is in shock. And now we have a mission to bring them home. And like our prime minister said, this was declaration of war. We are in war now, and our target is to destroy the infrastructure of Hamas terrorist organization, so they won't be able to do it again. But I have to say that Hamas, from what we saw, there's no difference between Hamas and ISIS, and their goal is to kill every Israeli. And when they will finish with Israel, they will go to Europe because they don't want to see. They wanted to. They're doing it. They say they're going it in the name of religion. I don't think that their religion allows to do what they are doing, but they think they're doing it on behalf of their religion, and they will not stop after they finish Hamas. On the other hand, we are strong people, so we will not let them. We will not let them stop what we started. This important existence of the Jewish state in the Middle East.
Madam Ambassador, I want to say that we've all been shocked by those actions, having lived through September 11th as well. We send our deepest condolences to you, and I want to say that the United States has been a longtime supporter and defender of Israel and Israel's right to defend itself. What does Israel's relationship with Washington mean today, and how important is it when Israel goes through difficult attacks such as you just experienced?
I think the support of the United States is very much significant, and it's significant both on the declarative level, of course, because the United States is still a world leader and it kind of dictates policies to many countries, but also the actual support. We all heard the speech of President Biden, and we are very thankful for his position. He was very determined that the United States should help Israel, and that Israel should now finish with Hamas and to stop this terrorist organization. Um, the United States sent assistance to Israel, and this position, I think, gives us a lot of strength. Like I said, physically, but also mentally, that we know that the United States is behind us. This is what we expect from our allies, and I think we are very appreciated. We appreciate very much this very strong position of the President of the United States.
Excellent. Are you pleased with the allies who express sympathy and are providing military and other aid to Tel Aviv? And who besides the United States are the most important allies who have come forward to help Israel at this time?
I have to say, first of all, I have to say, I don't know why you asked about Tel Aviv, because Jerusalem is the capital. Of course, I'm sure you meant Jerusalem. But Tel Aviv is an important city, but it's not, it's not the capital. Um, we are not, we didn't ask for aid because I don't think that we don't need aid. What we need is the legitimacy to continue this war against Hamas until we really reach to a point that we break its capabilities of launching this kind of attacks again. Um, I mean, I'm putting the assistance from the Americans aside. If you ask about other allies, this is what we need. We need other allies pressure to release the kidnapped people, and we mainly we asked our allies also in Europe and around the world to designate Hamas as a terror organization, like the United States did a long time ago, because that doesn't enable them to transfer money and weapons and also appearance of people on behalf of this organization. So what we expect from our allies right now is these three, I would say three points. And in addition, of course, to make sure that these attacks don't ignite anti-Semitism against Jewish communities around the world. And that's mainly in Europe. We saw some cases already, and we ask our allies to make sure, and we ask everybody to make sure that the Jewish communities are not paying for what happened to Israel. Um, this is, I think, this is the most important things that we ask from our allies at this point.
Madam Ambassador, uh, recently, prior to the attacks, there were domestic divisions within Israel that were very serious, and there were questions concerning its national unity, such as questions about judicial reforms and other internal affairs. In the face of the attack, these divisions seem to have disappeared and a coalition emergency government has formed. What does this say ultimately about Israel's internal unity?
I think you describe a very accurate picture. After the last elections and the last 6 months, there were a lot of protests pro and against the new government, and people were marching in the streets, and there were a lot of disputes between people. Um, what we call very vibrant democracy. But yes, definitely the political issues were disputed very, very loudly in Israel. After what happened, we understand again that we are one people. And we have, I said before that we are very strong people. We survived 2,000 years of diaspora, and we survived the Holocaust, and we survived massacres, and we survived pogroms around the world. And what happened now is as serious as it is, and as horrendous as it is, it just took out the real spirit, I think, of the Israeli people and the Jewish people around the world. Um, One thing is the spirit of volunteering is kind of amazing. You go to center of Tel Aviv or Jerusalem or other big cities, you see people are gathering, clothes and toys and food to supply to all the people that had to flee from their homes. There are people that are left without homes, tens of thousands of people that had to leave the south, and people are opening their homes and invite families from the south to come and live with them. Hotels are opening the hotels for free stay for these families. Um, Everybody is really trying to help. At the same time, we see young people that are traveling around the world after the military service, coming back to Israel. Somebody wrote on Facebook that usually when there is a war, people are running from the war. In Israel, they are running to the war. People are coming back to Israel in the middle of their traveling, and they want to be. They're calling their units to recruit them. Um, Planes were organized by with donations from Jewish communities around the world. To They list and rented big planes to take these young people back to Israel. South America, North America, it was, and also in the East. There were flights from Bangkok and from other places, and it was quite amazing to see how everybody wants to come to Israel. Somebody said that he Googled last week the words flights to, and the first word that appeared was the first search was flights to Israel, because so many people were trying to find ways to fly to Israel, to arrive, and they are all saying that you're coming to defend home. So the civil society is very, very strong and organized, and the young people who volunteer, even older people are volunteering. People that the army tells them you're not on the list anymore. They are being asked to be listed because they say we are still capable of doing things. So I think that the strength of our people is now being revealed at its beauty. The circumstances are very much um, unfortunate, but the spirit is high, and people are really willing to do everything because we understand. And if you heard the speech of President Biden, he said that 50 years ago, our Prime Minister Golda Meir told him that our secret weapon is that we have nowhere else to go. Everybody knows that we have nowhere else to go. So this is our home, and we do everything to defend it. We don't run away from it. We come back to it when it needs us.
Thank you. That was a very important, really, um, response. I wanted to turn to the Ukraine war and ask, how has the Ukraine war affected Israel, and how would you like to see this conflict end?
You know, the war in Ukraine, after these 10 days, seems to me so far, but we cannot forget that there are other people who suffer in the world, even when we suffer. And like you mentioned at the beginning of this broadcast, before I came here, I was a part of our development agency and humanitarian. Um, and I went to Ukraine last year, about 1 month after the war started, and I went with equipment that we brought, but also with a team from 3 hospitals in Israel, and we built an Israeli field hospital in Ukraine. For me personally, it was a kind of a closure because my grandparents came from Ukraine and they had to flee it because they were Jews, and then I came with from Israel, from the Jewish land to Jewish country to kind of give help to these people. So for me, it was very personally, it was very exciting. But how this war affected Israel? Look, I think it's very similar to the rest of this region. But in case of Israel, we had a lot of immigrants coming from Ukraine to Israel. Jews from Ukraine immigrated to Israel. It was kind of a catalyst to move to Israel. The strange thing is also that because of the war, we have also Jews coming from Russia moving to Israel. So we were blessed with a nice wave of good people from both from Ukraine and from Russia that moved to Israel. Um, Israel continued until 10 days ago. We continued to support Ukraine with humanitarian aid. I think now we will have to concentrate on ourselves for a while until we stabilize the situation and until we heal. But the situation in Ukraine, I don't know how it will end. I don't know how it will end. I think that um, there must be found a solution to satisfy both Ukraine and Russia. I don't think Russia will stop what they're doing now just because they're being asked to. Uh, I think the situation like this can continue for many more months. It's a kind of exhaustion. Both sides are exhausting each other. Um, I think it will have to be through very concrete negotiations and to give an option to Russia to withdraw and to stop the attacks on Ukraine in a way that they will feel that they can do it without feeling that they lost their their face. I think in this war, but I don't know. I'm not an expert for Russian Ukraine war. I just can tell you from what I saw, the sites were very saddening. I saw the numbers of refugees. I didn't see the cities that were bombarded because I didn't go too too deep. But my colleagues are in Kiev, and I hear from them terrible stories. And of course, we heard through news. Um, I don't know. I think that if there will be not, I don't know what was the solution, but I think if there won't be soon a solution, they can continue this exhaustion for many more months, and it will be devastating for the Ukrainians, but I think also for the Russian people. I'm not talking about the government. I'm not talking about the soldiers, but for the Russian people, it will be also devastating.
Madam Ambassador, we have only a couple of minutes left. in a couple of minutes, I wanted to briefly ask you that there is criticism that the recent Middle Eastern conflicts are linked to the United States slowly pulling out of the region and redeploying to East Asia. What does the U.S. shift to Asia mean to Israel and to the Middle East as a whole?
First of all, I want to say that the situation in the Middle East is not because of preferences of the United States. The conflict and the violence in the Middle East is because there are forces in the Middle East that cannot accept that the Middle East is changing. If I compare to 50 years ago, when Israel was surrounded by hostile countries. Actually, it was the whole Arab countries around Israel, and then there was Israel. Today, the situation is not like that, and also maybe Israel was the only ally that the United States could trust. I think today the structure is different. What we like to call the architecture is different. Today we have a sustainable, long-lasting peace with maybe the most important country in the region, or the biggest country, which is Egypt. We have a very positive regime there. We have a peace accord with Jordan that is lasting close to 30 years. Um, we signed, thanks to the Americans, 3 years ago, the Abraham Accords in the Gulf with the Emirates, with Bahrain, and also with Morocco. And I think that there are forces that don't like this stability in the Middle East, and they make sure that it's unstable. And when I'm talking about these forces, I think mainly we're talking about Iran. They don't like to see this kind of alliance that is gathering kind of against them. They don't, and I think that if we're talking now about this war that is happening between us and Hamas, I think Hamas, as proxies of Iran, created or initiated this attack now because they see that also Saudi Arabia expressed their willingness to strengthen the relations with Israel, maybe to also to join the Abraham Accords or another agreement, and they don't like it. So to blame the instability or United States, I wouldn't do it for sure. I think that we are getting the support, like I mentioned before. We're getting support from the Americans. We still feel that we can trust our allies. So the preferences of the United States to put more emphasis on Asia, it's East Asia is not the cause. The cause is, like I said, those who want to make sure that they can create instability and to try to distance us from getting to a situation that the countries in the Middle East will concentrate on a better future in terms of economic cooperation and sustainable and climate and issues that we could see in the last 3 years that we really advanced in this cooperation very, very fast. They don't like it. They're trying to disturb it. This is how I see it.
Madam Ambassador, it has been a great pleasure. We're so thankful that you took the time to talk with us. And I hope that we get a chance to bring you back again in the future under better terms. And again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Madam Ambassador.
Thank you. It was my pleasure.
It was an honor for us.